Let's see. All right. What's happening? Let's do this thing. Welcome to Evil Dojo. It's time I learned some stuff myself, and y'all get to watch me flail about, pretend like I know what I'm doing, when in reality I'm picking shit up on the fly. I've been doing this a long time. We're literally 27 years into programming now, and I've been fucking around with this shit called NeoVim, right? So, for background, Vim, yo, what's up, Dino? So, for background, right, like, when I was in college, 2004 to 2008, that's how old I am. I'm 38 right now. I attended college longer ago than most of you are even alive. So, when I was in college, I got introduced to a Vim, or VI, which is a very good editor. Um, but at the time, I was averse to it because I didn't know something about it. Is Up until that point, and even really until I actually began using them, I wasn't really in the habit of like doing a lot of software configuration. You know, one of the big uh, hurdles to picking up them for me is because of my hands, rather my right hand in particular. This is my right hand. Okay, I got my index finger, which is curl. That's the one I'm wiggling right now. I've got middle finger, which is kind of like perpetually giving you the middle finger, right? Um, I've got my ring finger, and I've got my pinky. And then I've got my thumb. And even then, they actually had to do surgery on the thumb to give me this length. And it's effectively become utility wise, the equivalent of my left hand's index finger. So right hand thumb, left hand index finger, right? I can still use my whole left hand, and I do very heavily. Uh, my right hand, I have no choice but to type with the thumb. I'm unable to uncurl or flatten out my fingers because they're fused at the knuckles. And similarly, my wrist is fused at a bit of a bent. I can't unbend it, and I can only move it back and forward. It only has one direction of movement. And then I have the bowing on the forearm, which was a function of just lack of lack of length of tendon from my arm to my back or something like this. And what I was told they did in surgery when I was a young boy was that they wrapped the tendon around my shoulder and basically tried to like link it up with the hand. And as a result, it's like this is my default hands out like position. Um, I can rotate my left arm as normal, but I can't quite do the same very easily. And even then, like, it can't rotate it to the point where I can actually have the fingers in the same position as my left hand. So functionally, this was what I'm working with. So back to Vim. Vim's default key motions to move around are H, J, K, and L. And this makes a lot of sense if you're right-handed. The assumption is that you have your hands on home row at all times. This is keyboarding 101. I took that in the 8th grade, so I know a little bit about ergonomics, right? And the assumption is, yeah, like I said, that you have your hands on home row, and this minimizes the amount of distance that each finger has to move in order to hit certain keys. The whole goal being, you want to reduce the distance that your fingers or your mind has to travel in order to get from one input press to the next. So what this ultimately leads to is very efficient input, and this is how people become fast typists. I myself type rather fast, considering I only type with 6 fingers, but the default key motions for Vim were very, in my words, oppressive for this reason. Why is the world so right-handed? Well, because most people are right-handed. In fact, the first 6 weeks of my life or so, I was told that I did make an effort to use my right side, but it became obvious to me early on, before I even had the words to say so, that I would be, much more successful doing them from my left side. And so, to a certain extent, I'm not a natural left-hander, but I had to make myself a left-hander in order to survive and get around in the world. So, interestingly enough, I get along with actual left-handers quite nicely, actually. Because there is certainly a thought difference, like a qualitative difference in how you think if you are left or right side dominant, or even ambidextrous. So it makes, a lot of sense for someone to train themselves to try and use the other hand if possible. I've made efforts to, and sometimes I do things with my right hand, but when it comes to Vim is difficult without knowing that you can reconfigure it. What's happening, Pluto? How you doing, boss? As you can see, I can type fine. Everyone's seen enough programming videos that I've done in the past to know that I'm good at what I do, and I've made do getting by in this domain. But getting by is not good enough. We want to thrive. We want to excel. And we have to apply this mindset across the board. We have to set a standard of making ourselves better in one domain to begin with, because this idea resonates through every other domain that you happen to be working in. The reason I say this is that, and I'll get to it, it's all about what we're doing today, which is fucking around and tweaking NeoVim now that I've kind of got an inkling of how to fix a problem I've been having trying to get it to work properly. And I say properly in this context. Until I knew that I could reconfigure Vim, I felt like the only option I had was Nano or Pico, right? Or Notepad++ or fucking gedit. I exit. See, everyone makes a joke about how do you exit Vim. It's never been a problem for me because day one, the first thing that I was taught about Vim was that you can very quickly exit by doing Shift ZZ. I do personally Shift ZZ because Shift ZZ um, saves whatever it is that you're doing and then exits. So it's both a save and exit. Uh, if I have to explicitly quit and I want to avoid saving, it's either Q or like that. Um, you can also do, and I found this out later, X. So in order to, so W doesn't exit on its own. W just simply writes. So you can actually combine the commands together and do WQ, and then you can also explicitly force quit with the exclamation point, which you need if you accidentally open a file that you don't have like the correct permissions for, like in order to save it. So you'll end up, yeah, there will be certain cases where like you make changes and then they're not saved, and then you want to quit, and then Vim will be like, yo, you have unsaved changes. If you want to definitely quit, do Q exclamation point. So there's a lot of different ways to quit Vim, and I don't know where the meme came from that quitting or exiting Vim is hard, and I think it's funny that so many people have latched on to this meme as a source of humor, because from my perspective, people are taking delight in their own idiocy, which is kind of hilarious on its own. But I think that wasn't the point of the meme. The point of the meme was to be like, oh, quitting Vim is hard, but it's not hard. So what the fuck? Like, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I just have a different perspective on it. Maybe I don't find the meme funny, but there's a million fucking ways to quit Vim. How is it that people get stuck? Jesus, you can also literally kill Vim in another tab. You can PS AUX grep for Vim, and then force. You can kill all Vim, and then kill. You can also kill -9 Vim PID number. And yeah, there's a million different ways you can quit. Yeah. People be like, how do you quit Vim? How do you quit Vim? Which direction am I pointing? Fingers. Do the right thing. There we go. How do you quit Vim? Right there. I've given you literally 1 million ways. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4 million. That's 1 million ways to exit Vim. Okay. Enough horsing around. Or joking, whatever. Let me get back to the topic at hand. Using Vim is hard unless you know how to configure it. And one of the first things that I learned how to do when it came time for me to become an iOS developer, and I was expected to start using Xcode as my daily driver, I'm like, there has to be a better way. In doing research, I came across this one developer, Destroy All Software. Gary Bernhardt, I believe is his name. And back in like 2011, he shared his own personal Vim setup, of which I heavily copied the heck out of. And it became the basis for my VimRC, which I've been using for like the last 11 plus years or so. So the most important part of my VimRC, let's start there. There we are, right here. No remap, SH, no remap, DK, no remap FJ, no remap GL, no remap HS, no remap KD, no remap JF, no remap LG. There's the most important part of my Vim RC. This is what allowed me to finally start using Vim and actually fall in love with it to a point where I've been using it as my primary means of writing software for the last 13 years now, which isn't shit in comparison to how old Vim is to begin with. Slap. Bang, bang, bang on the table. Vim, Vim, Vim. Have you ever tried to use Emacs? Emacs is fucking god-awful in comparison. You want to speed run getting carpal tunnel? Use Emacs. You wanna fuck your wrists up worse than learning how to play guitar chords in standard tuning? Use Emacs. Where's that one meme? That one meme about, uh, Emacs being like an entire operating system. Because back in the day, when you put Vim and Emacs side by side, it is very clear that Emacs is just bloat in comparison to Vim. It's huge. It's way too much functionality for an editor. Nowadays, computers are fast, and we can kind of get away with being a little bit sloppier. But at the same time, it's also enabled us to do like way crazier things. So okay, so that was my old one. So NVim comes with flash forward, using Vim, and I get all the way to 2021, I think. I still lived at my old place when I began using NeoVim. I actually made a switch from Vim to NeoVim because I saw the entire developer community online dick writing, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get lost. I need to catch up, and what better way to start than just making the switch? And I didn't do any heavy configuring or anything like that back then. So I've only been really using NeoVim for like the last few years at the most. But I haven't been really using NeoVim, if you understand what I mean. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and it does things in a different way, a completely differently than the original Vim. Now, for backwards compatibility reasons, they offer you the ability to either use a .vim or a .lua for your initialization. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at my old backup. This is the entirety of my old backup. Or the init Vim. So what this does is it basically sets it up so that my original vimrc is the basis of the NeoVim configuration. So let's move NVim back up to NVim. So this is what it looked like and felt like back in the day. And it's very easy for me to turn this back on if I want to again. I've also got Copilot already whipped up and integrated. So, this is not a bad setup. I've been using this for a long time. Like, this basis, this look, I've been using for over a decade. And it still works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And it's very fast. It's very responsive. So this is why I like it. It's fast. It's incredibly responsive. And but maybe I can tweak the theme a little bit. Maybe I can do something more interestingly. Maybe I can make use of something better. A lot of what I see people rocking on NeoVim is way more complicated than this, and one has to ask themselves, should I fuck with that? Is that worth spending time on? Should I investigate? Should I check it out, see what's happening? Is it worth my time? And it might be. Because if we can kind of learn underneath the hood, maybe we can make our own plugins. Maybe we can extend the editor somehow to do something extra. Maybe we'd be able to have like the price of Bitcoin load up at the top or some shit. I don't know. There's a million different things that we could be doing here to customize how it looks, customize how it feels, all that stuff. So all right, so now we've got a fresh, now everything's, like by default, if you don't tell NeoVim where to actually pull its initialization from, then it doesn't recognize that you have a .vimrc in your home folder at all. So right now it's like almost bare bones NeoVim. Actually, it really is bare bones NeoVim because even my old key bindings don't work. So, but this is like the good starting point for two different things I want to look at and see if I can't make my old key bindings work in here, because that would be a huge win. And I feel like I've already taken a good step towards solving that problem by understanding the different configuration options that NeoVim offers, and by playing with those values, we can get something that is close to my original setup. I'll load up kickstart.vim and nvchad.vim separately, and we'll examine why they look cool, why they're worth exploring, and what color schemes and also problems that I faced. Is the whole big deal is that I've attempted to use both Kickstart and nvchad, which are both plugins that greatly extend NeoVim's functionality and look. But every time I've tried to fuck with them and I tried to sit down and implement my custom left-hand key bindings, I would run into several issues along the way. I want to talk about those issues, how I got past them, and see if we can't get something, cooking that looks reasonably and feels, not bad. Could be my new daily driver, because I'm in Vim, NeoVim, whatever, every day. Every day that I'm at my computer, there's gonna be at least one time that I open some file using NVim, which I have aliased to VI, because that's how I began learning it. And back in, in most Linux systems, VI is symlinked to Vim anyway. But there is difference between VI and Vim. Let me check the chats before I continue. What language do I use? Sci-fish. I write in a lot of different languages. Oops. I do. I'm learning Go most recently. I do a lot of Python. I used to do a lot more C and C++ plus plus in the past. Um, I've worked in a lot of languages. I do a little JavaScript, web development, kind of all over the place, honestly. Fuck around a little bit with assembly. Um, yeah, no, I mean, it all depends on where I am and what day it is, who's paying me, and what projects I'm on. Um, my own projects, Python and Go and some C and some C++. Plus plus. I'm going to have to make a hard stop at 3 p.m. So we've got 18 minutes. I'm going to try a speed run blast through everything that I wanted to kind of show. So let's get NVChad and make this our first one to try, messing with here, because this is the first one that I heard of. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, let me move me down there. Okay. All right, so it looks like NVChat is officially up and running. All right, so everything seems all right to start with. So this is one thing that I like about NVChat is that you can very quickly change themes, and they have a lot of really nice looking ones out of the box. Like a lot out of the box. So many different variants of dark themes, um, and they all kind of feel really nice. Uh-oh. Some little error there, but everything still looks fine. Oh, it did not save the oh, that's interesting. It didn't save my theme. Huh. Looks like there's a bug in NVChat. So good thing this is just a little quick test, because that doesn't seem to be working. All right, so we're gonna move on to Kickstart. Alright, so now if we... Alright, so when you first load up Kickstart, it installs a bunch of shit. Um, and everything's defaults. And there's a lot to go through here, right? A lot of stuff about Kickstart that I'm not yet aware of. But a similar problem that I faced with Kickstart that I experienced with NVChad was falling. Then there was another parameter that I need to set. Um, oh, silence. All right, so let's see. All right, DKKD. And then F is J. No. All right. F to go down. That's J. Okay. And K is back up. So down here it would be J, and this would be F. All right, so F is now working absolutely as intended. Hey, Ma, one hand. Pretty fucking sweet. So, the problem here is when I press D, there's a lag. Every time I press up, the lag that did not exist with my previous solution and does not exist when I press down. So, how do I fix this problem? Well, one solution that I've played with that might work for right now, but is clearly not the proper solution. And I only just discovered this today. Is to play with the update time and the timeout length variables. I can set this to 100 and then set the timeout length to 150. And now, pressing D is a little bit faster. And that's good. That's a great start. Now, I'm going to face several other problems going forward as I'm trying to like reconfigure this. So first of all, I have to do one entry per keybind. So if I'm just switching two keys, that's 2 lines. So for all 4 keys that I want to switch, I really have to do 8 lines because it's really 8 keys that I'm switching. But the problem is that this doesn't apply to visual mode. So we're going to also have to set these for visual mode too. Also, yeah, the delete doesn't quite work as expected. It's doing DK when I press KK instead of doing DD. So that's another problem that I face. Great. So very quickly, it's becoming cumbersome to manage reconfiguring this, right? Like I haven't even gotten to the left and right arrow keys, and I'm already having to think about like the up down, like the basic motions, like pressing K twice, which would be pressing D twice if the remap worked the same way as it does in VimScript. But let's let's do S, which should map to H. S, D, K, and then G would be L. So now we want to do, F would actually come right there. J, K, L. C, G, J, K, let's see. S, D, and then the K one, we gotta delete that one. And we're missing one too. Oops. SF. Oh shit, I only got a few minutes. All right, fair warning. Y'all have 5 minutes until an ad break, which is great because it'll be just before I gotta leave. If you want to support the channel, stick around, watch the ad, or subscribe via Prime, all that stupid shit. JK, let's see. Oh, we gotta do H. This would be S. SDFG, HJKL. So, in a perfect world, this would be all I have to do in order to actually make the reconfigure work the same way that it did in VimScript. However, life is not so nice sometimes. And you are forced to deal with certain realities, such as the fact that pressing KK, which I would expect to perform DD at this point, doesn't do that. KK deletes 2 lines instead of 1. So what's it actually doing? The first time I press K, which is currently remapped to D, it waits a moment. And it's actually waiting. It's going to wait for a while. Actually, I think it'll wait forever. Just not knowing where to go. So DF does nothing. D or KD. So KF does nothing. KG does nothing. KS let's see. KS appears to do nothing. And then I would only expect 1 line to delete. However, what's it actually doing? It's deleting the line, and then it's attempting to go up, which is, of course, my new DE, right? So it's deleting 2 lines going upward, which would be like the equivalent of doing D up or D J, I believe, in or no, sorry, DK in old school Vim. So how do we fix this problem? Well, one thing that I discovered that you're going to have to do, essentially. So if D is mapped to K, and we want to have the old DD, then we have to do KK. Let's see if that worked. And similarly, I'm going to have to do something for like basically every key motion that I can think of. So let's try DD now, which would be KK. It still is going upward. I think we're going to have to move this key map up to before we define K. The order may matter a lot here. Error detected, expected equals near them on 162. Oh, yeah, no, all right, moment of truth. Let's try it out. Okay, it's still deleting up. Not what I want. Oh, wait. This needs to be KK. That needs to be D. Still deleting up. Oh, wait, no. Damn it. It's still doing DK. Okay, I want to try something here before I go. Oh, oh, hey. Okay, wait. I gotta set this to add value again. Okay. So KK works. Oh, wait, the order here. Okay, hold on. Damn, I need more coffee already. Oh, after 200 milliseconds or 350, when it times out, the K changes to a D. That's interesting, and I know that's directly related with the timeout because the timeout is directly related with how long it takes for it to recognize that the D key actually means up. And I gotta get ready for my meeting. So we figured out how to implement the delete key motion, like delete line. And I just have to type it fast enough before it becomes a D. Oh, I can also do KD, and that works. But it would be nice if I could press up and it moved just as fast as the up arrow. Uh, we could make the up arrow instead. No, it still takes a while. D and K. These are damn. The guy who created Kickstart said I should look at basically what's being mapped to D already. Um, but we're gonna have to come back to this. But this is a good start, but it's definitely far from ideal. Yeah, so like I would expect KF to delete down for me, but I would have to define that as well. All right, guys, I got 5 minutes. I gotta go. Thanks for joining. See ya.